Good afternoon, Bradley here. Today's video, I don't have a title for it yet. I'll try to come up with one. The other day, I put on this album, Art Pepper Meets the Rhythm Section, a 1957 contemporary recording, and that's what's playing in the background. So it got me thinking, because when you play this record and compare it to, say, a Blue Note recorded during the same period, you're going to get two completely different sounds. So I've always been interested in recording techniques and all that. So that's what I'm going to talk about. And first of all, contemporary records. I think they were formed in 1951. Lester Koenig. And in the middle 50s, he got Roy Dunan from Capitol Records. He got him to be the engineer on a lot of these contemporary records. So contemporary records, West Coast, cool jazz. So you're talking about people like Art Pepper, Chet Baker, Hampton Hawes, Barney Kessel, Shelly Manne, Sonny Rollins. I know Way Out West was on there. So Sonny recorded one or two or whatever for contemporary. West Coast, considered mostly white, more of a relaxed style of jazz compared to Blue Note. East Coast, at that time, hard bop. Blue Note was kind of, I would say, more aggressive sounding, in your face. Compare the two different styles. When you listen to this one, for example, it's not in your face. It's kind of back there. It's a little distant from you. But the contemporary records are super crisp and clear, absolutely no distortion. And also contemporary was one of the first labels to really embrace stereo recordings. So compare that with Blue Note. Like I said, Blue Note would be more aggressive, in your face. Now the choice of microphones has a lot to do with it. On those contemporary albums, they used if you're familiar with it was a Neumann U-47 mic. I think of the AKG-12, a condenser mic. So these did not have preamps in them. Okay, compare that with Rudy Van Gelder, which I'm not exactly sure what mics he used, because Rudy was very a little paranoid, to put it lightly. He did not like photographs being taken of this inside the studio that showed microphones, because he thought people would try to rip off his sound, his signature sound. And Rudy, he built equipment, he modified equipment. He was a super tech electrician, basically. He was a real techie. And supposedly, he would take the guts out of a microphone and maybe place them in a, let's say, for example, a Shure microphone. He would put those guts in there So when people came in the studio, they would think, oh, he's using a Shure microphone. Maybe I can get that microphone to get that sound. Well, he was not using a Shure. He was using the guts of another one. Really, kind of a little strange dude. The use of reverb, which a lot of times it's hard to tell, but the Blue Note, Rudy used reverb quite a bit. Compare that with the contemporary pressings. There was like very little reverb. Roy Dunan, the engineer, he recorded everything completely dry. So all you were getting were the true reverberation of the actual studio of that room. And every studio sounds different. They each have their own sound. So, and I would assume probably on most of these contemporary albums, I don't know, he did add reverb, but he didn't add it at the time they were recorded. So he would record the session completely dry. And when he would add reverb was when he was actually to the point of cutting the plates on the lathe. So what he would do, he would insert a reverb unit between his original master tape and between the lathe. So that reverb unit was right in the middle. So therefore, if you would listen to the original master recordings of contemporary, there would be no reverb on them, because there never was. The reverb was added at the time they were actually cut on the lathe. Now, Blue Note, like I said, Rudy liked reverb, and that's one reason why Charles Mingus, he did not like Rudy. He accused Rudy of completely changing the sound. Well, I think he had a point. You know, with everything Rudy did, he did change the sound quite a bit. But anyhow, Mingus, he just refused to record with Rudy. He didn't like that reverb, among other things. So now the Blue Note recordings, Rudy used a technique called close miking, which is what it sounds like, putting the mic fairly close to the instrument. Whereas you can tell on the contemporary records, it's probably not as closely mic'd, and besides, they are condenser microphones without preamps in them. So right there, it's going to be more gentle on the contemporary. But Rudy, he would, a lot of times, if you listen to a Blue Note recording, and say you're comparing it to a contemporary, the contemporary has absolutely zero distortion. Everything is clear as a bell. The Blue Notes, I mean, you are hearing some distortion there. And that was part of his recording technique. He would put these microphones fairly close, and he would turn up the recording volume while he was recording for the microphone. So if you're familiar with redlining, say you have a car and the tack and you're going into the red, you know, they put the red on there for a reason. It's danger, beware. Slow down, back off. It's the same way with recording equipment on their view meters. That red is there to warn you, you may have distortion if you continue this. And which distortion is not bad. Too much of it, of course, is bad. But Rudy found that level in there. And that's why a lot of those Blue Note recordings, they sound, you know, they're aggressive, they're in your face. They really are. So I just wanted to show a Blue Note album that I think has a lot of distortion on it. It is, what year would this be? I'm going to say 64 maybe. Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers, Free for All. Now the first song on this album is the title song, Free for All. You got Freddie Hubbard, Curtis Fuller, Wayne Shorter, Cedar Walton, Reggie Workman, and Art Blakey. So you got a 6-piece group. Lots of stuff going on here. But on that first song, Free for All, Art Blakey is, for one thing, the whole song is like one long drum solo for him. He is going completely nuts on that song. Okay, now on the actual recording, this is one recording. I think you can hear the distortion. It's even a little more than Rudy's normal distortion. I mean, the drums are just a massive, a massive choir of noise. But I guess that's what makes the song. But I think it's just a little distorted. I don't know. I'll just show one album. I talked about it before. This is not a contemporary, or it's not a Blue Note. It was recorded on United Artists, which eventually they bought, I guess, Liberty and Blue Note. So this is a Tone Poet that was released, but it was a United Artist originally. And I'll talk about Money Jungle with Mingus, Duke Ellington, and Max Roach. Just a 3-piece. So how do you get distortion on a 3-piece? Well, they did it on this one. Which the producer, what's his name? Bill Schwartow. There's distortion on the piano in quite a few places on this recording. It's only 3-piece, so how did that slip by? I don't know. My theory is that these 3 guys, musicians, they had big egos and there was a lot of tension. So he probably did not want to stop the recording session and have him redo it. And one other thing I want to say about Blue Note and Rudy Van Gelder's sound. Over the years, many people have complained about the sound of the piano on Blue Note recordings. They call it boxy or maybe confined. And after my first few Blue Note albums, I figured out what they were talking about. I don't know if this was just particular to his studio, his original studio in a house, and then he built a new studio. I don't know. The piano sound, they call it boxy. Yeah, it sounds like it doesn't go through the whole sound stage. It's very narrow, and it doesn't sound as good as say piano on contemporary records. But that's just another signature of Rudy Van Gelder's work. I don't particularly like that, but it is what it is. So anyhow, I think I'll wrap it up. These are just my opinions based on probably a little bit of fact. So if you have anything to add to this, different opinions, feel free to comment. You're not gonna piss me off or anything, because I just like to learn. You're not going to offend me. So that's it for today. Everybody take care. Stay safe. See ya.